Good evening everybody, and once again welcome back to the channel. In today's video I will be teaching you about how to do a dual write, meaning we're going to write data into both in the new Amazon S3 table buckets and unmanaged Iceberg table. Now dual writes are great when you want to evaluate performance, right? When you're evaluating two items, it's great that you're writing into both and then you can compare the performance, right? Or also in situation where you are using the older pipeline and you also want to write it into the new ecosystem. Once you're satisfied, you can discontinue the older pipeline. So in this video, let's learn how to do a dual write, and I will be demonstrating that using EMR on EC2. And also during the process, we're going to sync both the data in Glue Hive Metastore. So let's get started. All right, so in order to do a dual write, the first step is we need an EMR cluster, right? And I have a shell file which will help you to create an EMR cluster. This is a very simple create cluster.shell file. Simply edit your variables over here. And as you can see, we are going to be provisioning an M5 extra large cluster, just one primary node for the demo. And we're going to be setting Iceberg default to true. Okay, so now let me go ahead and create a cluster. So I will say /create cluster. And here you can see J-39 ends with JV. So my cluster should be in the starting state right now. Here you can see my EMR cluster over here. So I'll wait for this cluster to be in the waiting state. Waiting meaning it's ready to receive your commands. Once it is in the waiting state, I'll show you how to do a dual write. So as you can see, my EMR cluster is now ready, right? Now I will SSH into the cluster. You can also do via SSM, right? Whichever works for you. So now let me SSH into the cluster and then we'll go into the code shortly. Okay, so I am in, as you can see, sudo su Hadoop. Okay. Now let's take a look at the sample script. Dual write Iceberg table buckets.py. So here in the main function, you see I have configured multiple catalogs. You can add even more if needed, right? So the first catalog is manage Iceberg. This is the ARN to my Amazon S3 table buckets. This is the namespace. This is going to be the table name, and the type is managed Iceberg. The second catalog that I'm going to configure is unmanaged Iceberg, which means me as a user, I will be managing, how many snapshots to retain, cleaning, etc. So I will be managing. So we say unmanaged Iceberg. This is the path to the warehouse. The default is the Glue database name. This is the table name, and the type is going to be unmanaged Iceberg. So here we create a Spark session, and then for each particular setting, we create an Iceberg table first, as you can see, and then we call insert mock data. So here you can see over here, just a simple Iceberg table, right? And then inserting some mock data into that, right? So very simple, right? So we're going to run the script. So again, this is how we're going to be configuring multiple catalogs. So before we run, we need to deploy or push this Python file to S3, and I will do that with the following command: AWS S3 CP and the S3 path. So let me open up a new terminal and fire this command. And as you can see, upload was complete, right? Now we'll fire the job, right? So Spark submit. These are all the jar files we need, okay? And then if you take a look at here, so here, these are my settings for my unmanaged Iceberg. I set my Spark SQL catalog.unmanaged Iceberg catalog to or.apache.iceberg.spark catalog. I set the warehouse. I set the catalog implementation to or.apache.iceberg.aws.glue catalog. And then here similarly, I set my catalog implementation and the warehouse for my Amazon S3 table buckets, as you can see. Now I'll simply run the Spark submit, right? So I'll go here on my EMR and I'll just run the command. So my job is running and it should be complete in a couple of seconds. So let's be patient here. And looks like things are going well here. Okay, so the job is complete, right? So now let's go to Amazon S3 table buckets, refresh here. As you can see, we see our sample table, right? Let's go to S3 and refresh. Hey, look, we have a warehouse, default DB, sample table, same data over here as well. Let's see if that was synced with Glue. If I refresh here and I see my table right here. So great, right? So in single Spark job, we configured multiple catalogs and we did a dual write, right? We wrote into both Amazon S3 table buckets and unmanaged Iceberg, right? So this way, it gives you the flexibility. If you want to do some testing or performance evaluation, you can do a dual write and then see the difference, right? Also, if you are using older system and if you want to write to a newer system, both the system, and then once you are satisfied, you can discontinue the older system, right? So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. The code and the configuration is on my GitHub. So if you need it, please go to the GitHub and check it out. If you have any questions, let me know. Until then, keep smiling, keep programming, and I'll see you in the next video.